I know, right? Practically a murder weapon. Open. Yeah, we're good. Got the rubber shot glass today, so you know it's gonna be terrible. Because my dad keeps using the glass ones for his avocado pits. It's Comics and Shots, a completely improvised, semi-comedic musing by Howard Stern's Mick the Nerd, aka YouTube and TikTok's Mick the Man, aka Mick the Maverick, aka guy who really wish he could have gone chair shopping today, but he's got bread in the thing. Today's subject: why Spider-Man One More Day and One Moment in Time is 10 times more dumb than you thought. Parentheses, why the Paul situation isn't as bad as it could be. Still bad, but here we go. You see, when One More Day happened in 2008, I, like most people, stopped reading Spider-Man for the most part because of how freaking stupid it was. And only until recently, when I'm starting to get more back into Spider-Man, did I learn how really dumb and confusing and stupid it was how they did it. See, the way they explained it in One More Day was that, like, Mephisto will bring Aunt May and restore Peter Parker's secret identity in exchange for their marriage, under the premise that he'd be psychically siphoning off their misery of not being together for all time. And all I thought he did was alter time, so that they wouldn't be married or whatever. No. It gets way more confusing. Okay, so he merges the Earth 616 timeline with elements of an adjacent timeline where Peter and MJ didn't get married. They almost were. They merged those timelines together, so it's simultaneously reality alteration and time travel in one. And then ... Doctor Strange cast a spell, mind wiping everyone from knowing Peter Parker's secret identity, unless he reveals it to them personally. Yeah, the Paul situation's looking pretty good, isn't it? And once again, I hate that story, too. But, MJ being stuck in a time loop with a guy for years, ends up being with him for the kids, I could buy that, but why did the devil need to merge timelines in order to do all this stuff? Why didn't he just use regular old time travel? None of that made any friggin' sense. And, it's almost as weird as the retcon where it said that Mephisto made a deal with Norman Osborn way back when for the soul of his firstborn son, and I don't know. That was in the Spencer run. My brains are in Spain's, Janes. And let's dial back and think about how confusing that all sounded. How weird that all sounded. Because they made that bullshit-ass explanation, that stupid, ridiculous, convoluted cake of nonsense, just to break up Peter and MJ. Just to break them up. Because Joe Quesada couldn't see a couple like that working anymore. In their minds, that was the only realistic way they'd ever really break up. It's insulting for two reasons. One, like, most people who grew up with Spider-Man are adults now, so maybe a separation or something? Or just a divorce? Two, if you didn't think divorce or separation were realistic for the characters, and had to go through all this confusing effort in order to separate them, maybe you shouldn't have. Maybe if you have to go through all this trouble to justify a story, the story is not very good. Think about that, Nick Lowe, or whoever the hell's in charge of Marvel right now. Hell, maybe Nick Lowe as a puppet master at Disney. I don't know, I wouldn't put him past Disney. Basically, this little man's husband died in a restaurant. We all heard about that. It's a little maudlin, I know. Ugh. Yeah, either way. Don't go over-explaining a story that shouldn't be needed to be over-explained. Because if it needs to be over-explained, then it's not that good of a story. Man, don't tell me that there's no easy way to alter it, because I could think of at least 50. Or I can come up with at least 50. And that's kind of the thing. In this reality, there are things that we cannot change, that we are powerless to change, and we are forced to accept the change. But in comics, we can change literally everything about the reality if we want to. We don't have to accept what happened. We can make the reality that we want. And what we want is just a goddamn reality where Peter and MJ are together, and they have a daughter that wasn't murdered by the Green Goblin and or kidnapped. It was left kind of up in the air. Think on that, whoever's in charge. Think on that. With that, like, comment, and subscribe. Donate if you're feeling nice. Share it with a bear. And always remember, praise be to the blood elk, fear the stabopotamus, and death the Kronos. Now that went down smooth. Tasted crackers. Have a night, folks.